recording right now. I
Yeah,
got
buddy.
the living legend, John Strife, with me today for Live, Laugh, Love. And I think a new segment, since we don't have trades anymore, is how do I plan on just like massacrating myself because of all of the losses that I've got throughout the year. If I get last again this year, I might just like walk on broken glass just to be like, I deserve this.
Mm, like,
So John, how has your week been?
it's been good. I mean, I've had the whole week off of work at this point, which is great.
That's
Mostly
awesome.
just to focus on fantasy football and I mean, get my team right for going into playoffs here.
Yeah, how do you feel about playoffs? It's so weird that we're already talking about what we're 2 weeks away from the regular season being done.
It's true. I mean, I feel like my team is a contender at this point. I may not get that top spot, but I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm making playoffs. So
Yeah.
that's always kind of the goal.
And it is like we looked at the champions a few weeks ago, and I noticed that a lot of the champions do not come in as one or two. A lot of them come in those mid to lower seeds because they may have been like a middling tier at the beginning or mid season and then end up just absolutely finding their way at the end of the season and going into the playoffs strong.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, we got a lot of dark horses that seem to kind of come out of the ashes at the end of the season here.
Totally.
So,
Yeah, so for last week, which uh some people did great. I don't know if you were kind of looking at what happened last week, since I have to imagine it wasn't that far into the week that you were just like, well, I've won. Winning 138 over 94.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, last week was Thanksgiving week, so I watched a lot of the Thursday games, which was great. Didn't really
Totally.
come away from Thursday thinking I'd have a huge advantage, but yeah, I mean, I was playing Frederick, so I
I
kind of
know.
figured I'd.
He is above me. He has 3 wins. He is
That's the
doing
truth,
great on
man.
the season.
I mean, I feel bad for you guys. I mean, I've been there, and I know what it feels like to be
Yeah.
kind of on the bottom of this, and
I
it's not a good spot.
so I do think, and your empathy makes my heart grow, but I do think that it is this feeling that makes people worried about a keeper league, that they would just get into a hole that they could never get out of.
Well, it's true. Yep, we're never too far away from having that light at the end of the tunnel, but it's sometimes just the end of the season. It's like
So
thank
yeah,
God this is
and with a
over.
true redraft, it
Yep,
is
yep,
a fresh slate. I wish
yep.
that I could say it went better from last year to this year for me, but it did not.
Yeah,
Uh
no, that is the argument, right?
that
It's
is the
like people
argument.
that stay on the bottom. It's like
And
you're in front.
yeah, I've gotten 11th my share of times, 12th now as well.
Yeah,
But getting second a lot, I think I was riding a bit of a high, and I still would do a keepers league in a second. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But I do understand where people could be like, well, all you need is Travis Kelce, and you're pretty
Well, and
good for a few years.
I think we're all dedicated to this league enough where we admit that like when we lose in fantasy, it messes with our week. And you're gonna have a bad week if your fantasy team loses.
Yeah.
And I mean the psyche part of that, if you had a bad team for 10 years, I mean, you're looking at like depression, man.
Yeah.
That's just I'm
That
like I'm
is
not willing to subject myself to that.
that is true. Where yeah, if especially if it was like a true dynasty league where the only draft that you had was a rookies draft, like you're
Right.
trying to bring in a class of people and do trades.
Mm.
If you couldn't get out of a slump, or the person that you just traded, all of next year's drafts for, which
Ooh,
could have been like a Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago or 3 years ago,
right.
it just goes
Well,
done.
and you see some of that even in the modern day NFL with like this Russell Wilson trade. I don't know what
Oh,
Denver's going to do for the next 10 years. I mean, they
I
are absolutely out.
I've heard a lot of arguments of like they need like maybe one more season, but if he doesn't get better next season, the dead cap on him is $100 million.
Right. I mean, the stakes are just higher, man.
Right. Oh, for sure. But yeah, your argument is extremely valid, especially when we're seeing it happen in the NFL so tangibly right now. And it was just that one trade that really, I think your boy Gino on the Seahawks, you see the Seahawks look good.
Yep. I mean, I've said from day one, I mean, you get that guy into an offense that he's prepared for and well coached for, and the guy is just a gunslinger. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world, but he just has never been set up for success.
I feel like you see that in Chicago right now too with Justin Fields, where they were trying to force that generational type player into a scheme that wasn't his.
Right.
And he was failing. And then they go, you know what? This is what these other modern quarterbacks are doing. We're going to run it like Kansas City. We're going to run it like Baltimore. And we're going to have a quarterback that can run 100 yards a game and not get hurt. And suddenly they look like a new team completely.
Yep. I mean, you got to play to the guy's strengths. And I mean, Gino has weaknesses. I'm not going to deny that.
Oh, he's on my team. Yeah. Like it is
dumb as hell. You get him to make one or two reads and he can do that. I mean, he just can't see the whole field.
Yeah, I would in like a heartbeat. It's not like I'm a truther for him. If it were to be that he someone were to say like, you know what, I really think that I would adopt him right now if you're willing to trade like, and let's like even kind of a lower tier middling guy, Justin, or who is it for the Chargers?
Oh, Justin
Herbert. Like, I think Herbert has not had his best season.
Well, and I mean, I'll be honest. I thought, well, don't, because I hate watching Lamar play football. I mean, he's terrible. I mean, I would rather watch Geno sling it than watch.
We could have had another trade.
Yep, we could have. I never pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah. So if people don't know, we did have a small trade, which I think has been mutually equitable. Christian Kirk is who you got out of it.
Right.
And I got Joshua Palmer, a little filler. And I think, how have you felt about Christian Kirk so far?
So I was very happy with that trade. I feel like I did get the better end of it, but I mean, I understand why you made it. I mean, if you got Keenan Allen who can't find the field, I mean, you need that number one guy. And Josh Palmer, at least when we made the trade, was the guy for.
Yeah, and Mike Williams was out too. It was like last week with Keenan on the field. I played both of them, and was it the right decision? Maybe not. I could have made a better one, but it happened. It wasn't terrible. Moore just went off for more than he's done for a long time.
I don't think it cost either of us anything in the standings.
No. I mean, yeah. Well, it definitely didn't cost me anything in the standings. But who were the big players last week? Because I know there's one that stands out to me that is like I'm trying to find out how many points he put up, but it was Joshua Jacobs put up 48 points this last week.
Yeah, so this one's confusing to me because the Raiders are so bad.
Yep.
And Josh Jacobs isn't any good either. But I mean, the one that he broke at the end of the game for 80 yards is, kind of fluky. Sounds like he got himself hurt on it too.
Really?
So I'm not a buyer of Josh. I mean, even with seeing that, I'm not a buyer of Josh Jacobs. I don't trust him.
Looking over his stats, I mean, he started out the year slow. I think he wasn't fully in. I think he had an injury that he was coming back from, but 8, 9, 14. Then he gets 34, 30, 36, and then a couple of low games, and then 48. But yeah, I've had him on my team before, and that is who he is. Like, he is feast or famine.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to even do a draft today, I mean, I don't think Josh Jacobs is a first rounder. I think he's a second rounder at best.
I think you're right. It's hard to even say that with like the amount that running backs have stunk this year. I think that
Right.
you would have, I think like Kelsey goes in the first round. I mean,
Kelsey might go #1 overall. The guy is
yeah,
just a cheat code this year. Yeah.
yeah. And where does like Justin Jefferson, where does he fall for you if you had to redraft? He's a
Yeah.
first
So
rounder again, probably.
yeah, I mean, he's clearly a first rounder.
I
He's
think he's
probably the
had
number
two
one
dud
wideout.
games. I think he's
Right.
had two games, which at this point is almost 20% of his games, a little less. Let's call it 18% of his games, have been at like 12 points or less.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guys that I would take before Justin Jefferson, and there's not many of them.
I know. And like now that Cup is hurt and hurt like bad for the rest of the season, I think
Right.
he's out. McCaffrey, it seems like he's now in a timeshare, really solid. And I think it's good that he's in a timeshare because I think he won't get hurt. But
Well, so he is the guy now again with Elijah Mitchell being out. I mean,
I
it's gonna
think
be
that they said that I can't remember who it was, but whoever Elijah Mitchell, his
yeah, they were
backup.
gonna bring in like Jordan Mason or somebody.
Right,
But
something
yeah,
like, but it's just, when he was on Carolina, he would get like 42 attempts. Like he would get like 35
yeah,
carries and like 14 or like 10 or something like that um receptions. Like it was
right.
just he's got to get hurt.
Well, yeah, and they're using him like Devo 2.0, which is I
Yeah.
mean, super smart. But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
and just I mean, if you can get 60% of what his actual potential is, like it,
Yep.
yes, he can run 400 yards a game, sure.
Mm.
But if you can get him for 180 and like a touchdown and 80 yards receiving, I think for me, he is in the contention of being top 5, especially with Kamara not really being in contention there, and
Yep.
with who is it for Pittsburgh?
Boy, yeah. Who? I mean, it's Najee and
Yeah,
Jalen Samuel.
Najee fell
Yeah.
off completely.
Right. Oh,
Yep.
for you, Najee did look so dirty this last what
Mm.
was it, Monday night?
Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean, that was brutal.
Oh, so while we're speaking on this,
Yeah.
so imagine the game where someone just without really thinking, you just spit out a name. I'm gonna give you like it's going to be food related, but I'm going to say something and you give me the player that you associate with it. Okay.
I can do that.
So this one is going to be bad. Burnt popcorn. Who is that thing that just radiates, you can't get away from? It's the smell that won't go away. And it's just, that it's bad and it's going to be bad for a long time. Who is it?
Oh boy, that's a good one. So it's probably, I mean, it's gonna be something that hasn't produced this year that should have.
The person that
I'm
I have in my
probably
mind is a quarterback that we talked about.
boy.
I think it's Russell Wilson.
Okay. I mean, that's hard to argue with. Russell's just so hard to root for. That's a good guess, man.
Right?
I was gonna say Keenan Allen just because he should be good and he's just always hurt.
I
But yeah,
love that answer as well because he's burnt me
right.
now
Yo,
where he says that he's starting and he gets like a catch. And
oh,
even
it's
at
maddening.
full strength,
Yo,
it was like 15. Great.
so that kind of crap cost me the championship last year with DeAndre Swift. The guy
Oh,
was
yeah.
healthy as hell. I put him in my lineup after not having him for 8 weeks. And then he gets me 5 points.
What would your food related thing be for DeAndre Swift this year? Because he's another one where it was so good and now you do not know what you have.
Yeah. I'm realizing I'm not very much a foodie on this
You know
stuff.
what? Yeah, I'll give you one and you tell me if I'm right.
Okay.
Today is December 1st.
Yeah.
It is Thanksgiving leftovers
No, man.
because now they are a week old and they were so good. But do
Yeah,
you trust it?
boy, I think I trust it.
I think I trust it too.
DeAndre's athletic as hell. I mean,
Do
he's
you
the
trust
guy.
him to be a running back one? If you got to choose, is he a running back one or a running back two?
Oh, he's a two. He's a two slash flex, but I think I'd still want to start him.
Yeah, but if you looked at your if you looked at your roster and it said DeAndre Swift as your running back one, I think I'd be disappointed.
Yep. I was very, very mad at Bastion when it came draft day and he took DeAndre Swift for me because he was going to be on my team 100%.
And
then,
do you think that they got a little bit of the what's the show bubble that they get? The what's the show that they do every year that shows them through training camp?
oh, Hard Knocks?
Hard Knocks. Do you
Yeah,
think that they got a little bit of the Hard Knocks boost where everyone got excited for
I do.
Detroit?
Yep, that Hard Knocks thing is very real. Yep, and
And
there's probably some
they
name
came out of the
recognition.
gate looking really good though.
Yep. I mean, he's injury prone, man. He can't stay healthy. So yeah. And Jamal Williams is absolutely a thing. So I
Totally.
get why people are down on him. But
Totally.
I'm a believer. I like my DeAndre.
If I were to say that this person is your favorite pint of ice cream, who would it be? It is that thing that's in your freezer. You can just grab, you know, it's always great. Who is it?
So I feel like this is an easy one for me. And it's going to be a guy that's on my team. He's been on my team now for probably 3 years. I've either drafted him or I trade for him. And that's my boy, Joe Mixon. The guy's just a stud.
That is a great answer. And I feel like maybe that's a little bit of like Rocky Road kind of stuff where his base is very good, but it's pretty low for an RB1. But his ceiling is astronomically high.
Well, I mean, that's easy to say after he put up that 55 or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but I think that you could trust him to get 15 points a game.
Well, and you can trust him to get 15 carries a game. You know, it's more the volume than anything. I mean, I'm not even mad when he doesn't produce because he gets those opportunities. So I'm a good Joe Mixon guy.
That's great. That is a great answer. And that's one where, just like you said, it's tried and true. You've had him for years. It's something that you know and you go back to. And the last one is, and this one is a volatile food. It is an apple. So this apple, you get to grab it and you don't know if it's fresh and delicious or if it's already gone past its prime and the skin just looks good. Who is it where you don't trust to put it in your lineup, but it should be good, but it could be bad? You've already used Keenan Allen. You can't use him again.
Fair enough. So I'm going to go with another guy on my team, and this is kind of low hanging fruit, but it's going to be my boy Lamar Jackson, man. I do not trust Lamar worth a shit. I was watching football, Chris, last weekend. And I mean, I came to the realization after Lamar kept overthrowing all these receivers that I just don't enjoy watching Lamar play football.
Do you think that you would rather like have your quarterback, especially that role where you really need like that 18 to 22 points from a week? Would you rather that it is your Tom Brady-esque person, which is pretty vanilla, like not doing great this year, but in years past, it's like, they just get you 20 points. They're not going to be Mahomes. They're not going to be your like Buffalo or those people that could get you 50 on a week, and at other times they just kind of are duds.
Yeah, so my best fantasy teams are the teams where I have good quarterbacks, and I take quarterbacks in the first, rounds 1 through 5. And I miss having Patty on my team, but even this week, I mean, I picked up Trevor Lawrence yesterday, and he may get the start over Lamar this week.
Is Trevor Lawrence playing?
He's playing Detroit, man.
Is this his first game back?
No.
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, of course. I was thinking of San Francisco, the guy that got hurt.
Oh
early.
no, that guy. Yeah, that guy's irrelevant.
Yeah, that's what when you said that, that's the person that popped into my mind, and it's who I started out with this year.
Yeah.
And
What's his name? I don't even know his name, brother. Trey something.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Lance, not Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was when you said that, I was just like, holy crap. I have kind of stepped away from fantasy football a little bit for a couple weeks. Like I still do everything with it, but it's
Yeah.
like it's almost hard to look at right now because
Oh,
I have two.
I believe that, brother. Like I say, I've
Yeah.
been there. I get it. It's yep. Yeah.
I'm my only hope is that I can luck into, because I think I'll need 2 wins in the playoffs to not get last. I need 2 wins.
Right. Yeah. With you
Or
being the last seed, you're gonna have to win your second matchup no matter what. So even if you lose
Yeah.
your first one, as long as you win your second matchup in that losers bracket, you'll be out of the toilet bowl. But
right.
I mean,
And then
we'll see.
or win the toilet bowl. But
Yep.
yeah, I would rather not be in it. I would rather get 10th than have to try to scrape for 11th.
Yeah, that's fair, man. No.
Well, very cool. Thank you for putting up with that. I know I directly put you on the spot. We did not rehearse any of that at all, and you did great. For pickups this week, there's not a whole lot that happened other than there was one that stood out. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me pull up my reports here. And I mean the one that stands out to me is the the $41 acquisition for
Yeah. And
a
actually, now that
backup
I'm
that's
looking at it, there's 3. One of them makes sense. Deshaun Watson went for a lot of money, but
for a team that already has a QB1. I don't understand what Bestian's doing with that. But
I don't know. $37 though. And
Yep.
I think that it's going to show me that Deshaun Watson, the second highest offer for Deshaun Watson, can you take a guess?
Oh, $7.
It's
right?
$7.
Yeah.
He overpaid by $30.
Well, I mean, you look at your Michael Hasty, and I understand why Cookie did that, but I mean, he overpaid by $41 for her.
He absolutely did. No one else put in a bid.
No, and that's I don't fault him, but man, that is the game you got to play late in the season, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, he probably, I don't have his budget in front of me, but he probably still has some playoff money, and he's in a spot where he needs wins. I think he has 4 right now, right? And he's had 4 for most of the season.
Yeah,
I think he's on a little bit of a losing streak. And then Knight.
So yeah, the Zonovan Knight thing confused me because I feel like Ty Montgomery is the guy out there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that they also have a guy that goes by the last name White. That would be a big one, but that yeah, I mean that one they also overpaid by $20. But right now, if it's a need in the season, you got to get it. There's also no trading left, so if you need a guy, you have to take him up through there. And so
this is the time of the year where you get your backup running backs handcuffed, and you just I mean ride the wave, see how far you can go.
For sure, yeah, yeah. Everything else was kind of menial, nothing crazy. But those 3 were huge. But that $41 with no other offers was nuts.
That's up there with one of the more drastic overpays we've ever seen.
I love how they now have the offers report on there as well. You used to have to kind of deep dive for that info, and now that they just have it right there for you, it's beautiful.
It's nice. Yeah, you got to be on like a desktop or something or like a laptop to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice feature. I like it.
Yeah. I don't think, okay, who were the big losses of the week? People that got hurt. I mean, we didn't really talk about it, but Kupp being hurt is a big blow.
So Dan has rebounded from that fairly well, and I think that Zay Jones is going to be a big deal for Dan.
I did go to put in a bid for him this week, and he had picked him up midweek, like for free. and I felt hoodwinked a little bit. He did a good job on that.
See, I think Dan's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Cooper Kupp thing kind of makes him rally a little bit.
Yeah, and he has a strong team anyways, but that being a number one pick, a like arguably number one wide receiver on the season, is that's a tough loss, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, even the Christian Watson pickup on Dan is a good one. I don't love Christian Watson, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he really it seems like the Packers and Aaron Rodgers specifically has started to really trust him as that big play guy. And that's a big role. And right now it's making my Allen Lazard hurt.
Boy, yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah. I don't want any pieces of that Green Bay offense anyway. But yeah, it keeps Dan in contention at least. So we'll give him that.
I heard little rumors that the Packers were like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, your hands hurt. You should probably, be out. And he was just like, no, I'm playing. I can play. And we have a couple of games left, and I think it's impossible. I think they're out. I think that they cannot make the playoffs from where they stand.
So I haven't been paying attention to that as much as the Vikings, and that they can clinch the North this weekend with a win and a Lions loss, I think. So I mean, Green Bay is, they don't really have a prayer, but I think mathematically they are still in it for the wild card.
I guess, that's probably true. But yeah, what a great week. Commercial break. I will say I have been drowning my sorrows in the best Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is this week's helpful hotline for mental health is Grand Marnier. It makes the sting go away a little bit more. What's your booze go-to? What's your go-to?
So I haven't been drinking a lot of booze, but I've been drinking a ton of an energy drink called Celsius, which
I love Celsius.
I'm drinking it there. Stuff right yeah, it's great.
It is great, isn't it?
Well, Bernard, it makes me feel good. I mean, there's way too much caffeine in it. There's double the caffeine of a Red Bull.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is my go-to.
The flavors are also wonderful.
Oh, they're very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Not overly sugary like you have, like you said, for Red Bull or Monster. Really nice carbonation and flavor, but also, just like you said, they are highly caffeinated. I did not realize that, and I picked up a Costco pack, and I was driving around for real estate, and I just had one, went to a showing, an hour later I had another one, and I was shaking because in 3 hours I had two of them, where Red Bull, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Celsius, I thought I was going to crawl out of my skin.
Oh, for sure. And even on the can, they say, you really shouldn't have more than two in a day.
Yeah, and that's spread out over 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Over Thanksgiving, I had 3 of them and stayed up for 30 plus hours.
For work? Or just because?
No, just to be up for the holidays. I had Thanksgiving off, but it's I don't want to sleep away the holiday.
Yeah. So what'd you end up doing?
So it's a great story, actually. We went to so Chris wasn't with us. He went over to the new bolts, but my parents and my grandma and my cousins and stuff went up to Charlie's Pub for Thanksgiving.
Where is that?
I guess they serve a Thanksgiving buffet.
Awesome.
So by the indoor golf center here in town.
Oh, right on, sure.
Super good, super good, and it was nice because you didn't have to prepare anything. There was no cleanup, and
was it packed? Were there a lot of people at Charlie's?
I mean, I don't know if you've been to Charlie's Pub, but it's connected. I mean, it's not super big.
Yeah.
They had upwards of 600 reservations for the 3-hour time slot. So they were just herding people in there like cattle.
Holy shit.
Is
it built like a Red Robin or like a Chili's or something like that, or is it more like a bar?
So yeah, the reason that it works is that it is a bar, but it's connected to the Elks Lodge, which is right next
Oh,
door. So they
sure.
open up the Elks Lodge, and it's this big auditorium looking thing.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun. And just like you said, not having to worry about all of those dishes, cooking, waking up early in the morning and
Yeah.
starting the turkey, everyone coming over to your place. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that and then just kind of watch football all day. It's pretty chill.
Sounds like a perfect day.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's great. And then I ended my day by going over to the Scudamores, who were
Awesome.
my neighbors, and crashed their Thanksgiving at the end of the day and ate all their pie.
Wait, the Scudam, not the same Scudamores.
So yes, so Nick and Julie live in Chatfield, but
Yeah.
Nick's parents live right next door to me. So
Shut up.
so whenever I go home at the end of the day, if they're partying, I'm fucking going over there, seeing
Wait,
what they're doing.
that's not the same house that like he grew up in.
No, 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 no.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember
So
going to
then
the one that had the pool in the backyard and
yeah,
whatnot.
yep, yep. I think they lived in a couple houses since then.
Mm,
But yeah, they live right next door.
that's got to be a ton of fun.
It is, yeah. It's fun seeing his brother and his sister and stuff over there. That's a
Yeah,
good time. I enjoy it. And
that's awesome.
I don't know if
Yeah.
his mom likes having me over there, but whatever.
If everyone else does, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So usually at this point we get into next week's lineups. And
Yeah.
so why don't you start with your own lineup for next week and convince me why you are going to take down the infamous Robbie Murray.
Okay. So let me say that the first, what's nice about these matchups now is that we played each other once. And I
Yeah,
can say, regrettably, that Rob beat me the first time. That will not happen again this time. So to
beautiful.
change that, we're going to start at quarterback here. And like I say, I think Lamar is going to be getting the boot for my lineup this week. It's probably going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Wow. I mean,
Only because he's
if you saw, I did have Trevor Lawrence on my team for about 30 minutes.
he did. You know, I was thankful that you dropped him because I've been thinking about Trevor Lawrence for the last week here.
I just couldn't see myself starting him over Gino.
Yeah, no, Gino's fun to watch. I think you
Yeah.
start Gino. But yeah, Lamar is infuriating to me. So I think I'm gonna make a statement. So Trevor Lawrence will be my QB. We're gonna go Mixon and Miles only because those are the two running backs I have.
Yep.
I don't have any options outside of them. Well, Waddle and Kirk, Kelsey obviously as my tight end. The guy's a freaking machine.
Oh my God. He is really like, they are humming on all cylinders. They are just doing great between him and Mahomes.
Oh,
I
Kelsey's the motor of that team. It's just
Yeah.
wild to me. I mean, the guy's just studly.
It's
So
amazing.
my decision this week is going to be at my flex. It's either going to be Deontay Johnson or Darius Slayton. I think it's a tough decision, but I'm going to go probably with the draft stock and Deontay Johnson. The guy just needs to be better. He hasn't scored a touchdown all year, so.
And you're holding two defenses right now. Is there a reason?
Yeah, so I've got three defenses on my team, and that's a strategy thing. Yeah, so they're all three of them are top 10, and I mean I feel like I like doing this every year where I look ahead, 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
And their schedules just complement each other. If I can't start one or two of them, the third one has a studly matchup that I'm trying to target. I'm just trying to save my fab at the end of the year. So if one of my guys,
and I guess
does go down,
you do have Slayton, you have Scott, you have Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think that you're gonna need a tight end. And so really, like you do have the depth that you need, even with basically two dead bench spots.
It's true. Yep. I think more than anything, it's insurance on Travis Kelce at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to spend a ton of money if Kelce goes down.
For sure. For sure. And it's hard to say that you could just have his backup tight end because that almost never works out like it would a running back or a wide receiver.
Right. Yep. That's true.
Yeah. And for Rob's side, I mean, you have Josh Allen and Diggs, which can be a ton. It can be an okay amount. It's always tough to see the optimism in playing those two. Chubb's been great. Patterson's back. Metcalf, I've tried to trade for so many times.
Oh, have you? Okay, I'm not a big Metcalf guy.
I just wanted that Geno Metcalf together, and I think that's why it never worked out, because I'm not a huge Metcalf guy, but it was enough for me to put an okay trade out there. It would have been a similar trade to like what we did, where it's like very even playing field, both stuff, and it just never worked out because he likes him more than I think he's worth. Yeah, I agree. I think that his lineup's probably set. I don't see anyone getting into there. Like Kenyon Drake is a good backup, but there's no way that he's going over anyone that's in this lineup.
I feel like if I lose this matchup, it's going to be because Nick Chubb runs wild on me, and that seems to happen every time. So I'm bracing for it.
Yeah, well, you do have enough of a barrier that you can still lose one and pretty much guarantee that you're in. Actually, with 8 wins, are you guaranteed in?
So Chris and I were talking about this. No, 8 wins is not the magic number. Bastian had 8 wins last year, and he missed it. Well, and it came down to points 4. So I think if you have 8 wins and a ton of points, then 8 wins is your magic number. But if you don't have a ton of points, it's not. I mean, you need those 9 wins to really say that.
The next one that we'll go over is Scudamore and Dale. Dale's bargain bin sale and Team Scud Missile. This one is the low ballers, if you ask me. I know that I'm probably in that with the King of the Hill as well, but I feel like this one projected and the actual scores that could come out, like I can see this being like a 94 to a 98 win.
So the last time these guys played each other, Scuds won a score of 90 to 70.
There you go. There you go. I think that they'll do a little better than that, but it'll be under 100 for both teams.
I think this is probably not the marquee matchup, but it's got some fantasy playoff implications.
It really does.
I think if I'm taking one of them, boy, I hate that Rodgers pickup from Frederick. I mean, he's got Dak. Why?
He might. I mean, we still have some tinker time. They both play on Sunday, and so we do have this whole portion of the week before he would have to decide Dak or Aaron. I'm assuming that he'll play Dak, and that this is all head games that he's playing with Scudamore.
I hope so. The winner of this is easy for me. I think it's got to be Scuds.
Well, you would hope so, because without a win, there's a good chance that he doesn't make the playoffs.
So he's in a tough spot. Scuds almost needs to win all. So
I think to guarantee that spot, he definitely needs to win 1 out of 2. But I feel like he's not going to be participating in points 4 compared to everybody else that's in the 8-win club.
He needs those wins for sure. I think Pacheco's a stud, so we'll see. I think Scuds pulls that one.
Do you think that Pacheco is going to score more than 10 points?
I do. I think he could easily turn in like a 20-point game. So I'm a believer. I think the guy's just awesome.
Okay.
He runs so violent if you watch him play.
Yeah. Oh, I agree completely. I think it's as of course you are, I think, our resident Kansas City person because of Travis Kelce. But and you Patty Mahomes believer. But I would be willing to bet you on a line over under 10.5 points. I'll take the under, you take the over.
Oh, I take that bet all day.
What do you want to bet?
I mean, let's do $5 for it.
$5.
Although I tell you, I just lost $5 with Belgium in the World Cup not making it out of their group.
Is
Freaking-
England still in?
I think, yeah, England advanced.
I think that they did because they were right on that cusp of a win and a tie. And
Yep, so England and
yeah.
US both advanced. I think I'm the only one that didn't have a team get out of their group.
Oh no. So I am the under, you are the over, and it is $5.
And what's the over under 10? 10 and a half.
0.5.
0.5.
10.5.
10.5. Yeah.
So 10 and a half.
Yeah. Nah.
I think that's a good bet. Because the last 2 weeks, he's got 10.7 and 15.6. And he is going to be their premier person. I mean, last game he had 22 carries. I just have a feeling against Cincinnati, it's going to be a boat race through the air. Like, I think Cincinnati ends up putting up some serious points, and they end up doing a lot more through the air than they do on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't love the Cincy, or I do love the fact that you can run on Cincinnati. I think their front four is just awful. So we'll see.
Yeah. And if it ends up being that Cincinnati has to punt or kick more field goals than I think, then he's going to have a lot of carries on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. And so I agree that I think it's Scuds, but I think that this one really is within 5 points at the end of it, because I think Cook and Thielen are in a groove where they're going to be okay. I think he plays Dak over Rodgers, which will be a better one.
We'll see. Dale does some weird stuff, man.
Hey,
I don't know.
He's got more wins than I do. I can't say anything about him. He's doing great. He's got a whole 3. But I do think that if the story of this year is Scuds gets into the playoffs, he has to win this one. And I think that Christian McCaffrey and you know what? I take it back. Dale's winning this one.
Okay.
Dale's winning this one. He puts in Dak. Dak and CeeDee Lamb have a day. The Vikings do okay. Brian Robinson does it. I think each position that he has, maybe other than McCaffrey over Cook, he outscores him, and he ends up 96-93 win.
Okay, I like it, man.
There it is.
But yeah, let's see what he does at quarterback. I think that matters.
I do think that he loses if he doesn't put Dak in.
Yes, that's fair.
But I think that he will make that up. I have Rizzo, and I have the Egyptian god Daniel Charlesworth. Go ahead, give me the story of who wins this.
So in my mind, this is the premier matchup of the week. This has some severe playoff implications. I think ultimately whoever wins this matchup is probably looking at making playoffs.
Because it would, well, I mean, like, you're presuming that if Jason Rosinski wins this, he wins 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I
mean, we've kind of written off Rizzo this year, but boy, he's got some potential in these lineups.
For sure.
So, I mean, yeah, I think the deciding factor here is what Josh Jacobs is going to do. I think the guy's not going to practice till maybe Friday. If he practices at all.
Because if he does not play, the person that takes his spot is Alvin Kamara.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Right. Like, I think it's a semi-healthy Alvin Kamara or whoever's the number 1 pickup on the waiver wire right now.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, Dan's got some good receivers, even with Cooper Kupp out. But I think I like Rizzo in this one.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer in Justin Fields. Aaron Jones is kind of semi-hurt. So yeah, I'm taking Rizzo.
I think that if Justin Fields is healthy, I take Dan. If Justin Fields is not healthy, I take Rizzo. Kirk Cousins coming in for Justin Fields is pretty good. Like, that's a pretty good backup to have. But yeah, also he has Cooper Cup on his team still.
Yeah.
Why
I
not
mean,
drop
I don't
him?
know why.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
he has surgery. But yeah, I feel like Mike Williams might end up being Zay Jones. There's a few little tweaks that might happen, but I think Hawkinson is so good. Singletary can go off.
Yeah, I think
Like,
Debo's
I
gonna have
think
a
that you're
monster game.
absolutely right that this is the game to watch.
It is. Yep. This will form a better playoff picture. But yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely. And I think that Dan has plenty of points where if he gets this win, he's in. Like, I think that he's high enough on the points for that
Oh,
it
yep.
would
Yeah.
right. It would be hard for him to have 8 wins and not make it in. So he solidifies here with a win, in my opinion.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. And then he figures it out from there. But right now, yeah, he's got a few injuries, but that Justin Fields pickup might have been a really good one for the year.
I agree. No.
Next one that we have is the other Strife, Chris Strife, versus Tim Bestian.
Ooh, God, this is a good one too. This might be even better than the Rizzo Dan one.
So I think that the Rizzo Dan one is going to be more of a dogfight. I think that this one is just two big old battle houses going at each other. There's no real playoff implications. They've both made it. Like, I don't see like
So both these guys are flirting with getting paid though at the end of the season. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
land one of these 1-2 spots. That's a big deal.
that is a big
Well,
deal. And they both have really solid teams. Do you think so? We have Chris Strife. The one thing I think that he is no longer kicking himself for having Jonathan Taylor on his team. He might not be the best running back one, but he is a great running back to have on your team right now.
Yeah, he's not losing them games at this point.
No, and I think the new head coach over there has helped out a lot too with reestablishing a sane running game.
Saturday, the guy that's never coached in his life.
Well, isn't he 2-0?
No, he's won one game. He's like 1-2.
Oh, okay. So he's okay. That's pretty great though. You have Patty Mahomes on Gritty on Yo Mama's TDs. I hate Tim Bestian's team in the way that I'm so freaking jealous of how it's come together. Like Kenneth Walker, Jeff Wilson, and Schultz as three people that at the beginning of the year were probably throwaway almost nothings.
Well, yeah, you look at Bestian's team, and let's see who he drafted: Patty Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, and Amari Cooper.
Yep.
I mean, the rest of his team is all either trades or pickups. So yeah,
that's right. Devontae Adams came in. Yeah.
Yep.
God.
Yep. So yeah, he gets the lucky award, but Bestian's team is not unbeatable.
It's not unbeatable. It is extremely floor proof. Like, his floor is so much higher than most people, but his ceiling's amazingly high as well. But I think that makes him a very good contender for going far in the playoffs, because he's not going to, like myself, get like 75 points on any week. But if he can be beat at 120.
Here's my hot take, Bert.
Go for it.
I don't think Bestian's team finishes in the top 2 for the regular season.
Really?
No. I'm a little biased here, but I think the top 2 is going to be probably me and Chris.
Okay. Wait, you're calling for a Strife Bowl?
Nah, I mean, not a Strife Bowl, but I'm thinking 1-2 is probably.
Oh, you mean for the regular season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Well,
that would be.
here's the thing: is Chris plays Bestian this week.
Yep.
I think with that close win last week, he's riding some momentum. His players might rally, and if he beats Bestian, then Bestian's got an uphill climb to get back into that 1-2 spot.
You're not wrong. And yeah, it's fighting over, just like you said, it's fighting over the very top. Wow. I love where your head's at. And how do you see Josh Crawley not being in?
Crawley's had a great season. I'm not going to take that away from him. The problem with Crawley is that he plays me in week 14.
Okay, true.
And there's just something about me playing Josh Crawley at the end of the season that never really works out for Josh.
Is it the plethora of dick pics that you sent him to distract him from setting his lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually like a random guy that goes off in my team. I mean, we've talked about, I'm sure we talked about this before, but it's the curse of Bryce Brown.
I've never heard this before. Tell me more about the curse of Bryce Brown.
So Bryce Brown was the reason that we had a 6-team swing in the playoffs back in 2014, I think.
Okay.
And, yeah, so there were at the end of the regular season, 3 teams. Yeah, I mean, it's what I'm describing it as, or a 6-team swing where people just got screwed. And Bryce Brown was this guy that played like 1 game in the NFL, put up 30 points, and then I think he retired like right after that.
No.
But yeah, it's these no-name guys that just.
And you played him. Like, you picked him up. It was a
plug and play because I didn't have an RB2
for 1 week.
Yep.
Against Josh Crawley.
And I've never heard of Bryce Brown again. Like I say, I think he retired after that game. But
I don't know. I'm sure that I heard about it when it was happening.
Yeah.
But I have, like, if someone asked me who Bryce Brown was, I probably would have been like the brother of Chris Brown, also dances very well.
Yeah, no, I was listening to the championship podcast last week, and that got brought up. It's a very real thing. So for that reason, I don't think Crawley makes the top 2 either. I think both Crawley and Bestian get bumped, and it's the Stripe dynasty at the end of the season.
What if I told you that Josh Crawley almost guaranteed is at least going to have 10 wins?
I mean, you can say what you want. We gotta play these games.
Well, I will tell you why I think that. And it is because our next matchup, we can go to Josh Crawley versus Tim Burgart.
Yeah.
Which is this week.
Yeah.
And it is a doozy. But I have had something happen this year, which is, if you look back at the people who play me, almost every single one of them has a top 3 performance for the year. Usually a top 1.
That's a frustrating spot to be in. And I
which is fine. I'm just saying that he's going to put up 250 points.
I hope that's not true. Well, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, your team could pull off something.
It could. Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen could do it. I think Allen Lazard won't actually be in my lineup this week. He'll probably end up getting benched for like Gallup or Murray. And then I end up having, it's like I can always put up points, but man, oh man, is Derrick Henry just going to walk by me and just like slam his huge wiener in my face with 50 points. And it's going to be terrible.
He's capable of that, man. I want to believe in some fantasy magic, though, and we'll see. I'll be rooting for you only because we need to bump Crawley and Bestian. I mean, I love you guys, but this is the year of the Stripes.
I love it. When's the last time that the Stripes were 1-2 in the regular season?
So I can't think of a year that we've both been in the playoffs together. The goal is always to have a strife in the playoffs. I mean, just
Strife
like
represented, right?
there's always a Stark in the north. It's always a
Yeah.
strife in the playoffs. And that, yeah. So I
Uh,
don't know that we've ever collectively done well. It's either one of us has done okay and the other is just bracket.
do you think that happens at all because of a small amount of brother collusion?
No, we. I mean,
I
we
mean, you
talk
guys,
about fantasy stuff, but it's
yeah,
not to the
but it's not like
level.
you trade it to each other.
No, and it's not to the level of collusion that we saw with of Chris and May. I mean, that was
Yeah.
we don't talk about that enough, but I mean that was absolutely a thing. I'll still remember why May won the year that she did, and it's because of a fucker named Denard Robinson. That
Denard Robinson. That's beautiful.
that yeah, I'm sure Chris was whispering in her ear, "Hey, get this guy off the waivers." You can't tell me she made that decision independently.
That's probably true. It is not as bad. Her picking up someone off the waivers when anyone could get them is not nearly as bad as if he were to have had him on his bench and just given it to her.
That's fair. Yeah,
Because that is what we call pulling a Curry. Because
no.
Rice would just be like, well, I'm not going to make the playoffs anyways. Would you like Josh Jacobs? Would you like just this great running back or wide receiver or whoever it was for like, I don't know, a second tier person on a team that's not doing anything?
So yeah, I'm surprised that this league hasn't reached that level of collusion where we're just paying each other for players at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's not because of money, it's not because of anything else. I think it's truly because all of us want to lord over everyone else and be like, it is my year, it is my purple jacket. You guys lost.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, the purple jacket's really not that tainted with collusion.
No, I really I don't think it is almost at all compared to a lot of other leagues where it could be, significant others, but also just imagine if it's only really 3 people in a league that are paying attention.
That's just it. Yeah, that's what's so beautiful about this league is people don't quit.
No, not at all. The waiver wire is always just so sparse, so sparse.
Right.
Picked over. And people are paying $41 for running backs.
For a running back that hasn't played a game outside of last week. It's like 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I do think I will give Josh Crawley this because I want to make sure that he gets mentioned. Tyreek Hill, Tua, Derrick Henry, just great showings. Garrett Wilson, great pickup. He does have a new quarterback. I mean, last week it was White. That started over Wilson, right? Zach Wilson.
Right.
And so I think that could be even better for him. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown. My only hope is that it snows in San Francisco or Miami, wherever that game is going on. It's in San Francisco. So there has to be a hurricane or a snowstorm, and it's very low scoring for like a passing affair. But San Francisco and Miami might be one of the best powerhouse games that's going to happen this week.
That's true. That'll be a fun game to watch.
I'm going to watch every second of that game because it is going to be a running team versus a passing team, and both are super high scoring.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I really think that they go wild. Amon-Ra St. Brown is back. I don't see how I have a chance, but I hope that I'm wrong. A little Christmas miracle. Hummer.
But yeah, Brer, you got Geno. He's the best quarterback in the league. I mean, we'll see.
I've started him. I think it's like my 5th week starting him. I can't find anyone that I trust more than Geno Smith.
Yep, I mean that's a fair assessment.
And the last but not least, the 2 4-8s. There's probably more 4-8s, but it's a 4-8 playing a 4-8. Luke Leibovich and Tim Anderson It is San Francisco Zeros and Najee by Nature. What are your feelings about this one?
So yeah, I mean, I can pretend to care about this matchup, but it means absolutely nothing.
Right.
So
It ends up being who gets first pick next year.
well, and it matters a little bit for seeding stuff for the Evolutions bracket. But yeah, talk about a boring matchup. Justin Herbert looks better as of late. I think he's still kind of hit or miss.
AJ Brown looks great right now.
Yeah.
He's really shown up. Mark Andrews is always great. Godwin is coming back together. Let's see. He had 20 points, 29 points, and 19 points the last 2 weeks. I think one thing that I think is going to happen with Chris Godwin is Tampa Bay cannot not be scoring touchdowns anymore. It's just almost impossible how little they've scored for how much they throw. So I think he scores a couple of touchdowns again. But I think that you're right. Najee Harris, of course, just a disappointment on the year. We're not mad. We're disappointed. And then on the other side, Tom Brady. So anything that Chris Godwin gets, Tom Brady gets. Rashard White. Pickens could be an out of nowhere kind of good. I don't think that he's a great play, but he could be good.
Yeah, he's certainly athletic.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get you probably 10 or 15 points, but I mean, it's just because Jamar Chase might be hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. Who do you take? I mean, just like you said, it doesn't matter that much. It's just placing. I think I want to see Luke win this one. He's projected to win it. I think he wins it. I think Mark Andrews is too good not to get you enough points.
Yeah, and Luke's had such unfortunate luck this year.
Amen. And years in the past too. Just unfortunate luck.
So I'll take Luke. But just while we're on the subject of Luke, has that guy ever made playoffs?
Ever?
Ever.
It has to have. There's no way that he can be seventh is his best. I have actually. Okay, give me 1 second. I
feel like he's made.
The legacy. I have the legacy sheet here, and if I look at averages over time, I have Luke Leibovich right here, and his winning percentage is 49.15%. He has his average finish is 6.9. His average final is 7.3. He has had 2 third place. Wait, am I still looking at the right one? He's had 1 third place in his career. In his 9 years played since we've been taking a bet. And actually, I was reading Jason Rosinski before. He is his regular finish average is 7, and his regular average at the final is 8. He is, he's right on that precipice.
I feel like sometimes he's really close. I think he's maybe made it one time, like the past 10 years that we've been doing this.
Well, he made the playoffs last year.
Did he? Okay.
He got 4th in regular and 6th overall. He got 2nd the year before that. And
no, he didn't.
Placed 3rd overall.
What?
Okay. And then he got 11th and 12th. And then he got 8th and 10th. 5th and 3rd. That's a playoff team in 2017. 9th overall, 9th overall, 10th overall, and made the playoffs so he's made the playoffs about 50% of the time.
Okay, I apologize, Luke. That was disrespectful.
He did have a stretch of 8s and 9s. And he's gotten last 1 year. And so I would say, let's see, fun fact, looking back, I want to see. So I have everyone up here. I'm actually going to share this real quick. Where am I looking here? I have this one. So sharing this screen is what I'm looking at. And this is just all of our totals and averages over the last 10 years, 9 years, whatever it is. And so this is your winning percentages. And so the lowest winning percentage, of course, is Sam Maguire and then Bryce Curry. But after that, Meg Strife, Nick Scudamore, and then Luke Leibovich. So you have 2 champions,
right,
as the lowest winning percentages.
Just striking lightning in a bottle. That's
It only takes being good for 1 year to have a purple jacket. Not saying that they weren't good, but the difference between the highest winning percentage and the lowest winning percentage is about 6%.
Yeah. Like that's not a lot.
In the wash, it all comes out about the same. Like if we all play as we have for a decade,
right,
it all comes out the same. If you look at the most wins that anyone has ever had over the amount of time is 63, and the lowest, not including Meg because she's out a few years, is 56. So you're talking about a difference of 7 wins throughout a career. We are all very evenly matched.
That's nuts.
It's nuts. Yeah. And then you have Sam Maguire with 2. And what might be worse, Bryce Curry was 6 because I think he played twice as long.
Yeah, well, yeah. Bryce was really bad.
We can't all be winners. But that is the story of that. If that is also up for anyone to see at all times, it's always there, and I update it at the end of every year. And so it's up to date with the new year after the season's done. Cool. The next thing that we have really is, and now that we're done with trading floor, I think that if I lose this week, I'm going to sit in a bathtub and run the shower over me at like a probably 80 degree, maybe 90 degree, like a warmish yet still kind of cold shower, and just sing Alanis Morissette, I think is what I'll do this week. So that's, instead of trading floor, it's how will I have self-pity on myself.
It's almost over, Britta. We got less.
Almost over. Playoffs will begin, and I will not get last. Yeah, but outside of that, what we have is, do you have a shout out for anything? Do you have anything going on? Do you have sometimes people have done like inviting people to go out to like watch the game somewhere, or like grab a drink, or if there's anything that you're doing that's pretty cool that maybe people can donate to or whatnot, let us know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I have any kinds of shout outs. I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing how these playoffs play out in our end of the year party. It'll be good to see you guys in person.
Do we have a date for that?
Whatever the Super Bowl is. That's kind of just our unofficial timing. We just do it on the Super Bowl. Yeah, shout out to Dan, the newlywed. I'm hearing got back from Egypt.
That's a great shout out.
Podcast last week. Sounds like he was battling some pigeon illness. So hopefully he's doing better with that. But yeah, no, good to see you guys, and good to see you on video, Bernard. It's been a while.
Good to see you. It's always nice. Like I said, this is such a self-serving podcast because I end up getting to just hang out with each one of you for like an hour, and it's always so much fun.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. It's a fun addition to kind of all the other shit that we do during the year. It's cool.
It is. For side bets, what would you like to do this week? We have the roll that you can always do.
Yeah.
Call your shot, pick'ems, and there's also fantasy drafts or whatever else you would like to do?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. I think it got brought up at some point, but I like the one we did last year where you pick a position. It doesn't matter if it's on your team or not, but pick a position and then how do we do it? And the person with the, I'm trying to remember. It's like pick a position and then the player with the highest points at that position wins.
Yeah, we can do that where it's you can pick, so say like it's going to be a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end is going to have the most points, and we could do it where you get to pick it and it is the highest scoring person that is rostered. So let's say that you were to say it's going to be wide receiver, and some schmo out there that's a running back ends up with like 50 points, or a quarterback that's not rostered ends up with 60 or something. That does not count. It has to be a rostered player. We'll look through at who had the highest, and if you picked that position, you split the pot.
Okay, fair enough. Well, okay, so like the quarterback competes against the running back and receivers. Everybody competes against each other.
Right. And really, I'm trying to explain what you're trying to explain. So you tell me if I'm wrong, because how I hear you saying it is because there's two ways to do it, is you can pick a position and have everyone bet on who's going to be the highest at that, or you can pick which position you think will have the most fantasy points for one person that is rostered. So like this last week, I have to imagine it was Josh Jacobs. Right. The week before that, it was probably a wide receiver. The week before that, it may have been like one of them for the highest amount of points on the week was probably Justin Fields, but he would not have been rostered that week, so we wouldn't have counted.
So let's simplify it further and just do a pick. Let's do a pick your pony, just like we did for the World Cup.
Pick your pony.
Yeah, pick your pony. Everybody gets. You can pick yourself if you want. Let's do pick your pony for highest score of the week. Yeah,
and so is that the fantasy manager? Like your team is going to get the most, or one player?
Team manager.
Yeah. Who is going to score the most amount of points this week?
Yep.
That is a beautiful bet. $5. And I'm going to break even because I'll get that wrong, but I'll get our side bet right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I can't even remember what the sign off was. It's something like live, laugh, love, or make sure to live, make sure to laugh, and make sure to love.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Bernard, it was good to see you.
Good to see you too, John. I'll talk to you later.
Yep.